students, welcome back. Today I am Anuradha from Art and Progressive School, going to start another chapter, that is chapter number 4, Animal Kingdom. So in the sequence of the first chapter, okay, and then second chapter we have done about the biological classification. So according to which R.H. Whitaker gave 4 kingdom classification. So here in this 4 kingdom classification we have started from the very first, that is the Monera, then Protista, fungi. Then we have completed in the last class about the plant kingdom in the whole chapter, right? So today we are going to start with another kingdom, and we can say another chapter also here, that is the animal kingdom. So here we have to understand that what are the basic features of all the kingdom, as well as how it is different, how this animal kingdom is different from the other 4 kingdoms, because life originated from where? From the single cell. Okay, so we have done for that. In case of Monera, the body cell is what? It is the prokaryotic cell and the unicellular cell. So as we are moving towards the Protista, now the cells will become eukaryotic and it will become the unicellular one. Likewise, like we are moving towards the fungi, so it is again what? Eukaryotic cell, but now it is multicellular. Okay, then in the kingdom Plantae we know that if I will talk about the cell organization or the cell complication, it is again the eukaryotic cells, as well as they are having the multicellular. So here also, if I will talk about the animal kingdom, the first characteristics which we know about it, that is they are the eukaryotic. Okay, it means that they are having true nucleus. First thing, right? Then comes to the another one about the cell. What type of cell it is? Single cell or the multicellular. So we can say animals, they are multicellular. Okay, these are what? These are the multicellular. Now after that we have done the classification on the basis of the mode of nutrition. So if I will talk about in the previous kingdom, so we know that some of them are autotrophic, some of them are heterotrophic, and some of them auto as well as heterotrophic, right? So here if I will talk about the mode of nutrition of animal, they are what? They are heterotrophic. What are they? Heterotrophic. And here also it can be holozoic mode of nutrition as well as parasitic mode of nutrition. Holozoic means they are engulfing their food whole, and parasitics, they are attacking on the other one and taking their nutrition. Okay, likewise these are some of the basis of classification on which we have classified the different species which are present on this earth. Okay, so now we will understand that in this animal kingdom what can be the different basis of the classification. Why? Because we know that we are having so many of animal species also, right? So how we can differentiate among them? So for that there must be a classification system, and we have classified them in a proper manner. So we will start with the 11 phylum. Okay, so it means that under this animal kingdom, because we know that kingdom is what? It is the largest one. Okay, and under the kingdom what we are having? We are having the phylum, right? So under phylum, then we are studying class, order, family, genus, species, like this. And in case of plant kingdom, instead of this phylum, what we have done? We have done the divisions. That's why under the plant kingdom we have done 5 divisions: Thallophyta, Bryophyta, Pteridophyta, gymnosperms and angiosperm. So here under this kingdom Animalia or the animal kingdom, we are having how many phylum? 11 phylum. Okay, so we will start with 11 phylum, starting with the Porifera. Okay, so then Coelenterata, then Ctenophora, right? So like this we are moving towards the lower animals to higher animals, just like we have done in case of plants. So in case of plants what happens? The lower plants, they live in water condition. So as the evolution takes place, it is moving towards the terrestrial area. So likewise, if I will talk about the lower animals, they are also living in water condition. So as evolution or the body will complicate it, it is moving towards the land, okay, for their proper adaptation. So here what can be the changes we can see from lower animals to the higher animals and what are the bases for it, right? So the first base of classification is level of organization. It means that we know body is organized form, right? So at which organizational level the body is present in case of animal kingdom. So here we can say that we are having four level, and according to the hierarchy also, what we are having: cell, then group of cell, it is known as the tissue, group of tissue forming the organ, group of organ forming the organ system, and then after there will be a organism. Okay, so this is a sequence for of any organism: cell, tissue, organ and organ system, right? And from here it is organism, right? So this is the sequence. Now if you will talk about the animal here, from at which level if they are present, whether they are present only in cellular level, okay, whether there will be a accumulation of cell, then it will form the tissue. So it depends upon the lower to higher animals. So if I will talk about the very lowest phylum, that is the Porifera. Okay, they are not that much advanced, they don't have any feature, they do not have any complicated structure, right? So we can say this one is very primitive, as well as they don't have any more characteristics in case of poriferians, right? So what we can say, that starting from here, from the lower animals, the body is in which level of organization? Cell level. It means that they are the multicellular. We cannot say that they are not multi, because the body is made up of the group of cells. But the difference is that this group of cells get not accumulated together to form a tissue. They will remain present in this situation only. Okay, group of cells are there, but they are not interlinked with each other, so that can form the tissue here. So what we can say, the first level is what? Cellular level, in which the animals, they are in the cell level stage. Okay, so what can be? It can be the poriferians. Okay, poriferians, they do not have any the tissue part, right? Then comes to the tissue level. Now we are moving from porifera to coelenterata, right? So in coelenterata, what we can say, that in case of coelenterata, the body is somehow advanced than the previous one, that is from the porifera. So we can say that now here in the coelenterata as well as the ctenophora, you can see the tissue level of organization, where the group of cells, they are present and they are accumulated with each other and forming different tissues here. Okay, so here we have done the tissue level. Then come to the organ level. Okay, so from here, from the platyhelminths, as the things will get more advanced, so what will happen, that this one will become the organ. It means all tissues, they are accumulated together and forming what? Forming the organ. So those animals which are present or which retain their life in organ level only. Okay, now their body has more complicated than the previous one. So here what we can say, that they are having the organ level of organization. Then comes to the organ system. Now when this organ, all organ will form here, what we are having? Proper organ system. In our body also we are having the proper organ system level. So here, on the basis of all the level of formation, whether the body is present in which form, we can categorize the different phylum or 11 different phylum. Okay, on what? The first basis is what? Level of organization. So whenever you will write anything about any phylum, you will keep all these bases in your mind, so that what will happen, you will start from the very first, the level of organization, then you will tell that at which level the animal is present. So likewise, the first phylum which we have to start in this chapter, that is the porifera. So if I will talk about the level of organization in case of porifera, your answer will be the cellular level. Okay. Now, one more thing about the animal kingdom is that we know that animal is what? We are calling it metazoa. It is what? It is metazoa. So here this metazoa, we are giving name to the animals. But now we are having two types of metazoa. What are they? Parametazoa as well as the eumetazoa. So this porifera which is present in the cellular level, it is what? It is a parametazoa. And the second one, all the other 10 phylum, we are calling them Eumetazoa. What is it? Eumetazoa. Why we are saying Eumetazoa? Eu means true, okay, and metazoa in words we are indicating with the animals. It means that they are the true animals, but the only porifera, because they are having all the primitive features, we are calling it parametazoa. Okay, so this much thing is there. And another important point, the study of animal, the scientific study of the animal, it comes under which science? It comes under zoology. Okay, what is zoo? Relates to animals. Logy means to study. So whenever we are studying about any animals, we are talking about the zoology, right? Then comes to the second basis of classification of all these phyla. It is what? Symmetry. Symmetry means what? When we are cutting any body, okay, and it get divides into two equal halves. So we are saying that yes, it is a symmetry. For example, if I will talk about any of this structure, whether this structure or this structure, right? So what we can do? We can cut this cross section like this, okay, or we can cut this into, it means that now body is able to divide into two equal parts, right? So what we are calling it? We are calling it symmetry. But what about those body which are not having any proper body, okay, like this one? So we cannot cut this body into two equal parts, okay. So those body which cannot be cut down into two different parts, it is known as what? It is known as the asymmetrical. Asymmetrical means A means absent, and no symmetry is possible in case of this one. So that's why what we are calling it asymmetrical. Asymmetrical example is what? Sponges. Okay, again if I will talk about the porifera, which is also known as the sponges, right? So here what we can say, in this body the division or the symmetry is not possible due to their structure. Yes, some exceptions are there, but generally in case of porifera or in case of sponges, the body cannot be divided into two equal parts, right? Then comes to the symmetrical. Symmetrical means now body is able to divide into two equal parts, but now again it can be two types: radial symmetry as well as the bilateral symmetry. Radial means what? Radial means that if I will talk about this structure, okay, this structure is what? Radial symmetry, and this structure is of what? Bilateral symmetry. So now what is the difference here? In this one we can say that radial symmetry, if you will cut the body from any plane, whether vertical, horizontal side, so any plane you can cut the body, okay, it will be divided into two equal parts. So when the body can be cut down into two equal parts from any plane, so that one is known as the radial symmetry. Examples are what? Coelenterata, Ctenophora, Echinodermata. Okay, so on all these things you can see what type of symmetry? Radial symmetry. Okay, so in 3D structure, all the planes you can see it very well, right? And it can be possible in any ways. If I will talk about the bilateral symmetry, bi means two. Okay, so body can be divided into two equal parts only when we are cutting in this plane. Okay, so when the body gets divided into two equal parts by only one plane, so you can see it here, only it can be possible if I will cut this one, so it will not be get equal. Okay, so this condition is what, in which we can the body can cut down into two equal parts by only one plane, or the possible way is only one plane, it will be the bilateral symmetry. And we can say annelids, arthropods. So here what you can see that some structure, for example in case of the higher animals, for example our body, in our body also, like me, so if I have to cut into two equal parts, so what is the one plane? That plane will be the vertical plane. In this plane I can divide into two equal parts, right? So this is the thing which you have to understand it here, otherwise. Then the another one, the germ layer. Germ layer means the third basis of classification of 11 phylum. So here if I will talk about the germinal layer, here as the fusion of male and female gamete, it forms the zygote. Okay, from the zygote it forms the embryo. Here to form the embryo there will be the formation of some structure. It means that now there will be some differentiation in their body. Okay, and due to this differentiation, the body germ layer, what we are calling it, germ layer, because from here the life has been started and every layer is going to form. So that what we are calling it, germinal layer. So here the after differentiation, what happens that the body is divided into three layers. Okay, because we are having our ectoderm also, mesoderm also, and endoderm also. So all these layers are present in our body after the differentiation. Okay, so what we can say here, on the basis of these germinal layer, whether we are having the two germinal layer or the three germinal layer, what we can say, the animals can be diploblastic or the triploblastic. So diploblastic is what? It indicates two layers. What is triploblastic? It is indicating three layers. Okay, so what are these things? As we are moving from lower phylum, okay, so in this phylum or the lower phylum like the Sporifera, Coelenterata, Ctenophora, what we are observing that they do not have any three layers. So initially they are having the ectoderm. What they are having? They are having the ectoderm as well as the endoderm layer, but in this form they do not have any mesoderm. Okay, so they are having the ectoderm layer, right? They are having the this one is the endoderm, inner side, and this one is the outer one, which is known as the ectoderm. And we know that our skin or the outer part is made up of what? It is made up of the ectoderm, right? And the endoderm is present inwardly and covering the whole gut of the body. So initially in the lower phylum, what we are having? We are having only two layers, and instead of this, the third layer which is present in case of what? In case of triploblastic, that is the mesoderm. So instead of this mesoderm, what they are having? They are having the mesoglia. Okay, what you can say? Mesoglia. It means that there is no mesoderm, only gel-like fluid is present in this in place of this mesoderm. Okay, so how many layers are there? Ectoderm and the endoderm. Now comes to the another one which is triploblastic, means that those animals which are having the three layers. So what we can say? Ectoderm, again ectoderm is there, then mesoderm, and then endoderm. It means that now they are having the mesoderm layer also. Okay, now they have formed the mesoderm layer also in the triploblastic animal. So from platyhelminthes, all the features will get formed here, whether you can say that the organ level, or you can say they will become the triploblastic. Okay, so as well as symmetry is also become the symmetrical, as well as here in the symmetrical symmetry it will be the bilateral symmetry. Okay, so these are the things which we have to understand one by one. In different phylum you can see different features are there. Okay, so what we have done, triploblastic, three germinal layer are present. Okay, now comes to the coelom. Coelom is what? It is the cavity which is present here, but this cavity, it should be there in the body. Okay, so where this cavity is absent, you can say that they are acoelomate. Acoelomate means absence of coelom. Okay, so coelom is what? It is the cavity which is filled with the fluid, and again this coelom, it should be what? It should be surrounded by the mesoderm. It means that if cavity is present in this part, it should be surrounded by the mesoderm. If there will be no surrounding of the mesoderm, so we cannot say that it is a cavity or it is a coelom. So on the basis of the coelom, we are having acoelomate. It means no cavity is present. Then comes to the pseudocoelomate. Pseudocoelomate means that there will be no mesodermal lining, but there will be some patches like mesoderm. Okay, in the structure you can see that some patches like in this mesoderm, they are present here. And what we can say, pseudocoelom, it means this cavity is present, but this cavity is not surrounded by the mesoderm layer, and that's why we are calling it pseudocoelomates. And there is only one example under this pseudocoelomate, that is the Aschelhelminthes. Okay, so in the series of 11 phylum, we will come to know with the Aschelhelminthes. So here it is what? It is the pseudocoelomate. And here if I will talk about the acoelomate, so all the phylum which is present in the starting one, they are the acoelomate. Okay, then comes to the coelomate. Coelomate means now there is a proper cavity is there, and this cavity is surrounded by the proper mesodermal layer. Okay, and we know that if there will be this cavity, so there they will accommodate the organs. Okay, so it means that the organ system will also start from here onwards, because now there is a cavity and this cavity is surrounded by the mesodermal layer. Okay, so here we have discussed the basic features, how we can differentiate different phylum here. The fifth one is the body plan. It means that how the body plan is there, right? So we know that as we are moving from very basic feature to the complicated structure, there will be some changes in the body also. So here if I will talk about the poriferans, okay, poriferans, they are the starting, and it is the first phylum of the animal kingdom which is having all the primitive features. It lack all the characteristics. So here we can say the body plan is cell aggregate. It means that the body is just, it is a group of cells, but it is not forming the tissue here. So what we can say, the body plan is what? It is a cell aggregate plan, and it present in case of sponges or the poriferans. But now as we are moving from porifera to coelenterata, then ctenophora, what we will found that there will be some changes. What is that changes? Blind sac body plan. It means that in your body you are having proper alimentary canal, right? So from this alimentary canal you are having two openings. One is your mouth and another one is your anus. Okay, so alimentary canal is what? It is a tube like structure extending from your mouth to the anus. Okay, so this is a perfect plan in your body through which you can take your food, and you can digestion must be proper. Okay, there will be two opening for taking the food as well as the removing the undigested food. But now if I will talk about the blind sac, it means that it is having only one opening. Okay, so from here you can say it is a blind. It means that it is having only one opening, and this one opening is responsible for taking in also as well as taking out also from the body. Okay, so what we can say, what is blind sac body plan, in which there is a only one opening. Okay, and all these opening, it is forming from where? From the blastocell, right? So as there will be changes from the different structure from morula to blastula. So from blastula, you know that there is one a pore which is known as the blastocell. So when it will form only one opening, it is known as the blind sac body plan, and you can see this thing in the lower animals in the phylum. But when it will move from to lower to higher one, again there will be some changes, and it will change into the tube within the tube body plan. It means that they are having proper tube like structure. Okay, and this tube having the two openings, right? So what we can say, tube within the tube body plan, that it is having proper two openings for entry of food as well as removing the food from the body. And examples are what? Example are the Aschel helminthes. So from the Aschel helminthes onwards, you can say what type of body plan is there. They are having the tube within the tube body plan, and this one, it can be of two types. It can be protostomos and the deuterostomos. So what is the difference between these two? Protostomos means that when there will be formation of this part, it means that mouth part will be earlier than the anus part. Okay, protostomos is what? In which there will be the formation of mouth part earlier than the anus part. You can say it is a protostomos condition. An example is what? Annelids, mollusk and the arthropods. Okay, so here in the deuterostomos, it will be in the later, just a vice versa of the protostomos, that it will create later on, but still both are having the two openings for the entry as well as for the exit. Okay, so this is the fifth basis of classification in which we are categorized the phylum, and the sixth one is the segmentation. Segmentation is what? If the body, you will see that some structures are there just like this one. Okay, what you are calling it, that when they are dividing internally or externally like this, what you can say, you can see that it is a metamerism. So all these are what? These are the segments. Okay, so in the body, when it is the body is divided into different segment, and each segment, what you are calling it? Metameres. Okay, so metameres is what? Each segment is known as metameres, and the process it is known as the metamerism. So this metamerism is what? It is a segmentation of the body, and you can see this segmentation where in the annulates, arthropods as well as the chordate also, right? Then now it can be of two types. Metameric, it means that externally or internally, and sometimes you can see the pseudo-metamerism. From the neck onwards there will be the segments, right? And you cannot see in a proper way. It means that they are not the true segments, but still segment is there. That's why we are classifying under the segmentation. So here, if there will be internally, externally, both, so we can say metameric segmentation, and if it's not completed, we will call it the pseudo-metamerism. An example is what? Tapeworm. So here again, as we have done the example in case of the plant kingdom, each and every division, so here also you have to understand that what is the basic feature, what is it different from the another one or the previous one, and what is the distinct characteristics of particular phylum. Okay, so like this you have to understand, right? Then comes to the seventh one. This is also a basis of classification, that is known as the notochord. So notochord is what? It is a tube like or the rod like structure, we can say. Okay, just like in your body you are having your vertebral column, so likewise in the lower animals, they do not have any vertebral column just for the support, so they are having what? They are having the notochord, right? So what we can say? Notochord, it is a rod like structure extending from the anterior to the posterior, and they are present on the dorsal side of the body. For example, this is the body. Okay, this is the body. So upper part, the upper part, like for example this back part of our body, it is a dorsal part, and this front part, what we are calling it? Ventral part. So likewise this above part, what you will call it? You will call it the dorsal side, and the lower parts, okay, which we cannot see here, it is the ventral part, and this front part, what you will call it? You will call it anterior, and the backward. Okay, our mouth is present where? At the anterior end, and the backward, what we are calling it? Posterior, right? So what we have done in this notochord, that it is tube like structure which you can see in the dorsal surface. Okay, and starting from anterior to the posterior end, and these animals in which this notochord is present, okay, those animals in which this rod like structure is present, what you will call it? Chordates. Okay, and it is from where? From Porifera to Echinoderma. Now when we are moving from Echinoderma to onwards, what is we are going to? It will change into some structure. Okay, now this notochord will transform into the vertebral column. So here when you can see this notochord is present, you will say chordates. Okay, when you can see that this notochord is absent, you can say it is a non-chordate. So in different phylum we will understand that yes, whether notochord is present or it is absent in the body. Okay, so likewise we have completed some of the basis of classification of this phylum here, but and along with this we are having some more, like we know that about the digestive system, respiratory system, excretory system, okay, fertilization, so how it look like. Okay, so here on the different phylum we will see different type of digestion. It means that if I will start with the porifera, so they don't have any digestive system is there, because no tissue are there, no organ are there, so how it will possible to form the proper digestive system? So what is going to happen in that case? So how they are going to circulate the water inside their body? So how they are taking the nutrition from their water? So we have to understand each and every part of every phylum in a detailed manner. Okay, so here today we have completed the introductory part of the this chapter, right? So that's all for today. Thank you.